Hey everybody, welcome to the Patty G Show. This week we are getting safe with Adam Beary. Yes, we're talking about safety processes, safety designs, and more importantly, crazy Uber stories. There's a lot packed into this episode, so be sure to tune in and follow along. And also, if you're not already, make sure to subscribe to the show, share the show, help us get the word out there. We're trying to promote Louisiana one episode at a time. Without further ado, enjoy this episode, brought to you by Lakeman's Health Center and produced by PB&J Productions.
What's going to be your I didn't do it, I'm an old man thing? Like, you know, the old man who held out and had the flip phone.
That is such a good question.
What's going to be your... I know what my answer always is, but I'm curious. You're the old man, they say, old Mr. Patty, he didn't... Yeah, he's old. He never got into that.
I would still love to drive a stick shift.
Yeah. You're just going to get to a point where you're like, I'm so old, I can't figure it out.
No. Like, I want the stick shift, not the automatic.
Yeah. So you're going back to something that literally was invented when we were children.
Correct.
You're like, never did it. Just held out.
Didn't do the auto. Like, I don't want to own an automatic vehicle.
All right.
Like, I just want the manual.
That might be the best answer I've ever heard. You picked the thing that actually already exists, and you're like, actually, I just don't do this. I'll just never do it.
I don't want the automatic. I just want to drive with 3 pedals. That's
Mine is mine's Neuralink. I don't think I want access at the tip of a button. Just my thought. I don't want that. I don't need it. It's fine.
It's too scary.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want, the things I think on a daily basis, the things that I see, the things that I'm like, I don't want to know who every person I see is. I actually don't.
I don't want to connect on them.
I don't want to connect with them. I don't want to know your social score. Whatever they're going to use it for. Yeah. I don't need it.
Yeah.
I'm okay. That's where I draw the line.
No, I'll be that one that's not in the self-driving car.
Okay. That's a good one. That's a good answer. See, I would risk it because I hate driving. I'm a big proponent of, like, if I could be in the car where the seat turns around and I'm just like emailing or watching F1 or doing whatever while we're driving.
Now see, I love it in times. Like, don't get me wrong. Love a good being driven around scenario.
Yeah.
When it's right.
I always tell people that you'll know I'm rich. when I'm in the back seat, I just have a driver. That's going to be the first thing that happens. I don't know what he's going to be driving me in, but I'll be in the back.
He's going to be one of those, like, just your normal car.
Right.
Like, Toyota Sienna.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm just showing up in the minivan.
I'm in an Uber all the time. It's like, no, this is just my driver. But you're like, are you a road tripper? Is that what you mean by sometimes? Like, do you like to road trip drive?
No. So, like, if I'm wanting to go to an activity where it's a big group of us, and I'm like, we're going to have drinks and we're going to have this. Let's not all get 6 Ubers. Let's just get a driver for, like, a Sprinter van or something.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Or, like, if I'm going down to New Orleans for Mardi Gras and don't want to stay, but I still want to experience Mardi Gras, I'm going to get somebody to...
Yeah,
but not an Uber because it's untrustworthy. I'd rather know, like, okay, he's parked a block right over there and just walk up and just walk in.
Yeah, one time I had a situation with that, with just a random Uber. Me and my wife went somewhere. I don't know where we were. Oh, I know where we were. We were in San Antonio. And we got out, airplane, got an Uber. Guy picks up an Uber, huge, like, it was like an Escalade or something. Tells his whole life story to the hotel. I'm like, okay. And he goes, hey, man, here's my card. He's like, Uber sucks. Just call me. And I was like, tomorrow we do kind of want to go to Fredericksburg. I'm like, we're going to get up pretty early. He goes, don't worry about it. I got you. And he picked us up and he waited in the car while we did the wine thing, and he drove us back, and he charged us like $40. He goes, I just love your company. It was fun. You guys, you let me tell you, I told you all about my family. We hung out.
He meant like just your company, not like your company.
No, he
like
meant
just
like
your
our company. He was like, that was great for me too. It was a great drive. Yeah, you covered me on the drive. I don't need to charge you a surcharge or anything. It's fine. I was like, all right. Sounds good, man.
He's like that Uber driver that's got like his Venmo QR code on the back, on the back of the headrest.
My man's name was Marlon. Shout out Marlon and.
Well, hang on now, don't get him caught up with Uber.
There's no way Marlon's still driving for Uber. He was not long for Uber. He was like, basically his wife was making him work Uber so he could take her on a vacation or something. He was like, I hate this job. That's
fair.
Crappy. His brother was an engineer. He was a little envious of that. Owned a skincare business or something. I don't know. It's this random story. I found out he had 3 kids, one went to Stanford. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Those are the best, I feel like, when you get to know the driver when you're in an Uber. But there's also some times where I've been in an Uber, like heading to an event, and the person like put on calm, relaxing music, and they just let me take a nap. And I was like, ooh, good little car nap. I'm ready to roll. What's
the craziest recommendation an Uber driver's ever given you? If you said like, hey, any good place to eat here or something?
Somebody told us, I don't remember exactly where they told us to go, but they told us to go somewhere in St. Louis. And we get out the car, and then we like look it up, and we ask our server at the restaurant we were going to about the place, and they were like, no, don't go there. They're like, that's not where you want to go.
You don't want to be there.
And I'm like, okay, why? Walk us through it. And she's like, well, 2 people died there in the course of a month. And I'm like, got it done. Say no more. Say no more.
Mine was Olive Garden. Guy told me he was like
serious face?
He was serious. But he said it like it was like it's when I realized that like why Olive Garden and Applebee's and all that stuff exists.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were in like Buffalo, and I had something for work, and he said, they got an old Italian place they just put here, Olive Garden? Like, he had never heard of Olive Garden in his life.
He's in Buffalo.
He was in Buffalo. He's like, and he's just like, it's new joint. I don't know if you've heard of it.
They do this crazy thing on limited breadsticks.
I think they have breadsticks. They give you breadsticks and stuff, and had a friend of mine guy in Montreal told him he should try out a local coffee joint, Starbucks. Because he's like, well, all we have here is Tim Hortons, but they opened this new place. I think it's the only place. He's like, Starbucks? And he's like, are you serious right now? He goes, what, have you had it? Is it good? He's like, I mean, they have them everywhere in the U.S. He goes, Canada. No, don't have none of them.
It's the only one here.
Only one here. The only Starbucks.
Wow. No, I have had a...
Are we just recording all this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. No, I have had...
just random questions.
It's perfect. It's the format of the show.
Question time.
No, I have had an Uber driver take us to a party, and we told him, like, hey, man, like, we're trying to get there and a little bit of a rush. And this man was straight up in his wife's minivan. And next thing I know, we're going down Nicholson Road, and we're pulling up behind this car, and I'm like, that car is not going as fast as you, buddy. Like, they're not going as fast as you. You know where that right-hand turn by, like, Ben-Hur?
Mm-hmm.
You know that, like, little yellow painted area that's, like, supposed to be for turning cars? This dude takes to that, goes into oncoming traffic, swerves back in front of the car turning, and then keeps going straight. I'm like, we're all in the back white knuckling. We're like, you can just drop us here. We're good. Just drop us off right here.
My man was doing it for family, dog. Like, he was
the kids' car seats are in the back. Like, we're good.
Nice. Well, you never know. It's luck of the draw with the driver. You've got just all kind of crazy stories that happen. You get in a car, sometimes there's mints in the car. I don't know if you want to have an Uber side door mint, but sometimes that happens.
Oh, the side door, not like in the center cup holder.
Nope. It was in the side door plastic pocket where, your friends just put like a bottle they want to throw away.
Yeah.
And they forget about it. He had mints in there, and he was like, take a mint if you want
Wrapped
one.
or unwrapped?
They were wrapped, but they were like the little certs where it's like, there's not a lot of wrapping on it. Could be a problem. Could have soaked those things in iodine or something before. I don't know. Had a dude one time offer to buy a hat I had on.
Did you sell it?
No, it was a work hat. I only had one, but I got offered like 6 or 7 times for that hat. It was in Cabo. My hat, I should have brought one. I did not. But it just has a bear on it.
Right.
Just a bear. And everybody's like, oh, California. I love California. Yeah, buy this hat. And no, I ended up selling it. And I came back the next time to Cabo, brought a bunch of hats. Not a single person. I'm not kidding you, bro. First time through, 6, 7 people asked me about a hat. Next time,
it was multiple people. I thought it was one guy asked you 6 or 7 times.
Multiple people asked me at the markets. The guy drove me from the airport. Our butler at the hotel, like the little concierge guy. He's like, "Oh man, I love that hat." And then I went on with like a business retreat the next time. I told the guys, like, "Bro, these hats, people love them." Brought some, not a single person. Not a single person.
It's like walking up to the same people. You're like, hey, man, this hat. And they're like, no, you're a repeat customer. We don't care anymore.
Yeah, he's like, I don't like this hat, actually. This is kind of a crappy hat, Yeah. So, Yeah, but it's good. It's good branding, that we've tried to do over the years. People wear stuff just randomly. Sometimes it's kind of nice. I don't know who's wearing it.
Isn't that that's the moment that you feel like you've made it?
There was a dude one time we're members at the Bocage pool. Shout out Bocage Racket Club at the pool. And some dude was wearing a hat, and my friend was like, "Hey man, it's your hat." And I was like, "I've never seen this dude in my life. I don't know who he is."
So do you sell your merch?
No, it's free.
Where do they get it?
Sometimes,
how do they get it?
Sometimes they'll, we'll get them out to people we know, or sometimes the engineers bring it to the plant. I'll just give out a couple hats, whatever. And then it was an engineer. He loved it. And so my friend walked up and he goes, "Hey, where'd you get this hat?" And he goes, "Oh, so-and-so gave it to me." And his wife goes, "Yeah, he wears that hat everywhere. It's his favorite hat." And I was like, "Damn, all right. Brand's good, baby."
Did you then tell him, hey, that's...
Yeah,
that's my company?
So it turned out he had met me one time. He had longer hair. He cut his hair.
Oh, you didn't recognize the face?
I didn't recognize the face.
Don't you hate that?
And it's honestly, now, I'm sure, Patty, you get this a lot. 262 episodes. People watch your show, But I meet a lot of people sometimes, and I'm going to be honest with you. If you're not very interesting, I don't remember you. All right?
It doesn't stick in the noggin.
Doesn't stick in. And honestly, if I don't say your name a couple times, it's one of two things. I said your name a couple times when I met you, or you were just, something about you was unique and I can identify. And I've had people, come up and my friends call me Barry. I've had people come up, call me Barry. I'm like, have I ever met you?
You're like, dude,
I don't know who you are.
You don't know me like that.
Yeah. Well, then they'll say a name. They're like, "Hey, you see Mike?" And I'm like,
"Who's Mike?"
No, I don't know who Mike is, And, so that thing's, but then, so in those situations, the worst response I've ever got is and I get this sometimes. It's like, "Oh yeah, we've met." Not a context of where we met, how many times we met, who they still are.
They're giving you no.
Yeah, because I tell you, "Hey, I'm Adam." "Oh yeah, we met."
And oh yeah, we met.
Yeah, I'm like.
And then you're like,
I don't know who you are because I'm introducing myself. Come on now, let's play the game here. My wife has been on the charade though. It's basically if I introduce her, she knows to ask. She knows to ask who,
Dude, I do the same thing.
Oh yeah, it's a classic move.
I'm like
classic move.
I'll even tell my wife before we get to the event. I'm like, "Hey, listen, babe."
Oh, it's so bad. My wife just knows.
I'm like, she's like, you need me to introduce me to a lot of people. I was like, "Yes, I do." I was like, because I don't. I'm like, there's a lot of people there that I'm supposed to know. I do not know them. And so it's the game from How I Met Your Mother. Like, "Have you met Ted?" I'm like, "Oh, this is my wife." And they're like, "Oh, nice to meet you. I'm so-and-so." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah. My buddy, my pal."
Yeah. The worst is I've also had this happen. Guy said, "Well, this is my wife."
He spun it back. He gave you that Uno reverse card.
Didn't even say his name. He's like, "Oh, well, that's great. This is my wife, Jill."
And you're like, "This is my wife, Kathy."
Yeah.
What are we going to do now?
He's just like Mexican standoff me about the wife introduction. I was like, "Dude, are you serious right now?" And my thing is too,
So do you ever own up to it?
No.
Okay.
You just.
Do you ever own up to it?
Yeah. So
you ever dude, sorry, man.
No. So this is my rule. If it's within 2 times, I don't even play the game. I just come up. I say, "Sorry. Tell me one more time." Right. But there are certain people sometimes that it's like, I know I've met this person 6 or 7 times. They're not interesting. They know my name. Their name's super generic. And I'm just in a pretzel. I just can't. I hit you with the, "What's up, baby?" Dude, if I hit you with the "What's up, baby?" 3 times we meet, I don't know your name, brother. That's a tip to everybody out there. I'm giving myself away. But if I'm like, "What's up, brother?" and I say that at least 5 times, I have no idea what your name is. And so if you want to help me out, you just tell me your name and that'll be great.
We won't have to have the awkward interaction of, "You know me. I don't know you.
Yeah.
But you think we're homies."
Well, and I have also done that before on accident. And when I realized it, I just didn't make a big deal about it. But people don't do that. They make a big deal. There was a guy one time, he spoke 2 or 3 times at some event thing. And I talked to him afterwards, whatever. But thinking back on it, and I was like, "Oh, hey, so-and-so, you spoke at this thing. And then from his response, I'm like, oh, and he doesn't remember we talked, but that's cool. Like, it was like 5 minutes in his day. So I don't make like a big deal about it. But dude, like, I mean, every 6 out of 10 people, they thought they were a main character, dog. And so they're just like, yeah, you don't know who I am? Yeah, I'm like, nah, I don't. And even sometimes the only time I ever really feel bad is like if we had a great enough hangout where like you remember the night and I have I don't know who you are at all. Then I'm like, dang, we like shared drinks together. We like had a good time.
We had core memories.
Yeah,
together.
We had core memories in your mind. In my mind, they was gone, dog. We had a fun night, but I don't remember what was up with that, but I got a lot in my mind. I got my wife.
So maybe you need the Neuralink.
Business. Maybe. Well, circling back.
Maybe you need the Neuralink to tap in and be like, hey, what's his name?
Maybe you could just do modules of the Neuralink. Like I don't want the Google function, but I want the name function. Yeah, just tell people.
So what if you just did like the glasses, linked it to your phone, and then started having them like scan Facebook or scan Instagram for like their face and do like a facial recognition software, and then be like, all right, your name's Adam.
Also, I don't know if you've ever done this. If you don't want to seem like you think you probably shouldn't remember this person's name because you only met one time for 5 minutes and there's no chance they remember your name, and you want to be like, oh my God, this freaking dude knows who I am. Yep. Like, how does he know who I am? I don't remember him.
Yeah, you want to be.
I'll reintroduce myself. See, I'm considerate that way.
Yeah,
I don't want you to feel bad about it.
Be like, hey man, we had a great time. Don't know if you remember.
Sometimes I won't even do that.
Oh, you.
Sometimes if I think you're not going to remember it all, there's no chance. I'll act like we never met each other. Yeah, I'll just
let that whole situation get thrown away.
I'm not trying to make you feel awkward. I'm not trying to make you feel weird. We're in front of other people. Let's just roll with it.
Now there are sometimes I do the reverse of that. Like if I know you know me, then you should know me because we've had in-depth conversations like over months of time.
So that's how you.
And they walk up in public and they they walk up with a certain crowd and they're like maybe not want to be associated. They know me with that crowd or whatever. They're just like, hey man, so and so, whatever. I'm like, yeah, dude, I emailed you this morning.
You're my worst nightmare.
And they just look at me and they're just like, why did you do this?
You are my worst nightmare.
Why did you do this?
Now I would say I would never do that. I would never just be like, we're not associated.
There's like a handful of people.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Okay. So I'm with you on that.
It's not the mass.
Can roll it. You can roll it.
No, the mass. If you go in for the DAP, I'm going in for the DAP, whether I remember your name or not.
Right.
And I'm going to be your buddy, your pal. And then I'm going to walk away and ask my wife, who the heck was that?
Yeah. Or like people, it's just, I mean, that's really though, if that's the worst situation problem I got, it ain't that bad. I still remember a bunch of names. It ain't a steel trap, but it's like kind of hard mesh.
So,
it's keeping people, some people's names in there. Bro, and honestly, what's crazy is creepy when it's like I remember interesting stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's what I used to do when I was a young engineer. I would try to act like a salesman. I would remember like something weird, like you owned a sailboat. Bro, I'd be like coming, I'm like, bro, how's the boat, man? You took the boat out, I'm like, bro, because that's interesting. Who got a sailboat? I'm like, we in 2000s, brother. You ain't got rid of that. They got motors now, I'm like, what is going on? Or like, cars, automatic cars, bro. Or like, my son went to UC Davis or something. I don't know, bro. I remember weird stuff. But like, just like you was born, you had a blue suit on. Everybody wears blue suits. I don't remember nothing about you, dog. I'm sorry. And so, like I said, if I think it's one or two times, I'll just hit you with it. I'll be straight up. What I also love, good or bad, indifferent, an awkward story. Like if I was an asshole and maybe I had a couple too many cocktails,
of course,
but not in like a rude way, but like maybe I put a drink down at a table and you were kind of like, what are you doing? Whatever. I'll defame myself next time. I'll be like, hey, probably don't remember me. Maybe you do. I was the idiot last time. I'm so sorry. If you want to do a little reintroduction and then you're okay. You're smoothing it over just in case. Sometimes I'll do it just in case. Because maybe it meant nothing to that person, or maybe they've been telling everybody, you know who I hated at the Paris County Line concert? This idiot who put his
drink right next to me.
Budweiser bottle next to me. That actually happened in a story for a very popular person here in town. And I don't think he would remember me at all. But if I ever get a chance to meet him one day, I'll say, hey.
A very popular person?
In town. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually in the state. But but I would say, hey, you don't know me from Adam. But I just want to tell you, one night.
I love that.
I was a little bit, my bad. You probably don't know. I've thought about it. I'm sorry.
You haven't. It's okay.
Yeah, you haven't. It's fine. In the off chance that he was like, yeah, actually, I appreciate you saying that. You never know.
Has that ever happened, though?
It has happened.
Have you ever
before.
had somebody say, look, dude, I really appreciate you owning up to the fact that you were a jerk that night and you ruined my entire evening?
Yeah, like what happened one time, I got invited. I did not ruin an evening, but I got invited.
To ruin an evening?
I got invited to a group, a business group, let's say presentation, if you will, that they wanted you to join. And the person heading it up was very rude to the wait staff, like abysmally rude. But I did not know the person running the group, and I got invited to said group. And so I didn't want to say anything. And this is to an establishment that I go to quite often. And so a couple months later, I was like, I told my wife, I'm like, this is you hate when I do stuff like this, but called the manager over. I said, hey, tell me who was waiting at my table that night. Waitress came over. I said, hey, I don't know if you remember. I want to apologize this night. I came in with some guys. I don't know if you remember. This guy was super rude to you. And she's like, oh, I remember. Yeah, that dude sucked.
But it wasn't you.
No, but she was like,
he was that bad.
Yeah, she's like, I appreciate you saying that. She lumped me. She had lumped everybody together in that group.
Oh.
So I'm like, so now.
So she was like, this group of jerks.
Yeah, these group of people. And I'm in this restaurant all the time. So I'm like, and my wife was like. You got
to make amends.
And my wife's like, she don't remember that. I'm like, she might. And if she does, she wait on us.
And she won't spit in our food?
Yeah. Yeah. Or she just is like, man, these people suck. I want to be the guy that's like, hey, my bad.
I'm going to let you know, we're sorry. I disassociated from said group.
Yeah. I've never talked to those guys ever again.
Do not put me in the same box in your brain as those people.
I mean, too long didn't read on this. Just treat people right. If you don't remember them, tell them. It's fine. They'll be all right. They'll survive. They might be real upset. You might be the person that they thought you really bonded with. Maybe they ain't got a lot of friends, but you rolled a dice on that.
Yeah. I've been on the other end of that, and you're just like, yep. Worst part is I've got to like get better about not like letting it resonate in my head of like trying to place them. It's like trying to use the internet while somebody was using the phone back in the day. It's like, hey, get off. Like, I'm trying to think here.
Yeah.
Like that happens, and I'm just looking at them like, I know you. And they're like, they start giving me enough clues because I'm making enough faces at them, and then we finally get there. But I got to get better.
Yeah, you just got to go straight in. Yeah. Just be like, hey, we know each other, right? Let's not play games.
Or be like, look, I'm being honest, I don't know your name.
I don't know your name. It's, I've got, what's the worst name you ever got called as a mistake? Not like what you've ever got cursed out of. I'm saying like, how bad did someone come off of Patty or Patrick?
How bad did they come off of that?
Yeah, like you got like a Greg? Like what's the worst you've got?
Ryan.
I also don't know why I have so many questions tonight. I never ask questions. I'm just questioning.
Like someone called me Ryan, like full confidence. Like full confidence. I'm just like,
Ryan.
My name's not Ryan.
So what was did they just go, yo, what's up, Ryan? Or they were like, and Ryan, and you were like looking
that. They were like, yeah, we were doing this, and then Ryan over here. I'm like,
were you with a group of other people?
Yes.
Was everybody like, who's Ryan?
Yeah, they were like, who's Ryan?
Oh, dude, that's hilarious.
And I was like, I'm not Ryan, y'all.
So the worst I ever got was, it was not really that bad. I got an Aaron. My name's Adam. That's not that bad. But what did happen a lot is in college, so my last name is Beary, like a bear. And I don't know if
logo.
I don't know if you know this, but Barry is also a first name. Shout out
got a cousin
Barry
named
White,
Barry.
Barry Manilow.
Yep.
So a lot of people just thought my name was Barry. Like Barry is my first name. And so, because people would just introduce me as that. And then, I mean, I've had friends, it was like 10 years later, they found out my name was Adam. Like somebody in the group would just say an Adam. And I saw a guy one time and he was like, you could tell he was like looking around.
Looking for
and
Adam.
Dude, he asked me.
Who's Adam?
He goes, yo, Barry, who's Adam? And I was like, that's me, dog. I'm like, that's my name. He's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, what did you think my name was? He's like, Barry.
Just Barry. You had one name. It was Barry.
Like, I was like Seal. Just like had one name, you know? So yeah.
Like Barry Seal?
No. Well, I meant like Seal, the guy. That's an old reference. Anyone who was, you know, younger than us does not know that reference, but was married to Heidi Klum. He was a singer. The only people I knew single name was him, Pink, Oprah, Fergie. I don't know. Fergie. I mean, who else? One name people. I don't got a lot of them these days. There's probably some new ones. Probably if I go ask the engineers in my office, they keep me up to date on like lingo.
Well, so Jay over here, he pulled a fast one on me that way by always going by Jay.
Okay.
And then we go into business together.
Okay.
I'm filling out legal paperwork.
And you're just writing.
I'm writing Jay.
How are you writing it? J-A-Y?
J-A-Y. J-A-Y.
Okay.
I then go to open a bank account, put this man as a signer.
Okay.
And I send it in. And then I go, hey, man, I need your license and all that stuff. And he sends me my license. I go, great, fill in the rest of this information. And he goes, Patty, my name's not Jay. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, my technical name is John. And I'm like, then why have I been calling you Jay for 3 years?
Is Jay short for John?
No, Jay's just
just Jay the letter.
J-A-Y. No, J-A-Y.
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 Okay.
But like he never
a Jim?
He never informed me.
Never informed you.
At any point that his legal name was John. So yeah, I'm looking at him. People are like calling him John. I'm like,
it happens, bro.
Who's this guy?
We have a name bugaboo, VP of my company. He went by his middle name to everyone else. I met him 2 years, went by his first name. His wife walks in one day. She said, hey, where's Billy? I'm like, who the hell's Billy?
Wait, we don't have a Billy that works here.
We don't have a Billy that works here. She goes, oh, I'm sorry, William. I'm like, once again, no William. And she's like, I'm Howard's wife. I'm like, oh, Howard. I'm like, yeah, my man Howard. Yeah, he here. I'm like, and what'd you call him? She's like, you know his name? She was like, oh yeah, that's what we call him, his middle name. I'm like, okay. My guy was a fourth, so they go by different names. Jay's a fourth. John the fourth.
I had a friend growing up in high school. His name was Patrick John, and he went by Jack.
Okay.
Like it wasn't until we had some formal event and they announced they read off his name, and I'm like, that's your name?
Do you think he was trying to like merge the two names?
I don't know what was happening.
Well,
there we go, Jackson.
Yeah, but I'm saying, do you think it was a coincidence that Patrick has a CK in it also? And he was like,
I think we're reading way too deep into a homeschooler's name.
He merged him. I think, possibly. So, Patty, are you coming? This is changing topics for sure. Are you coming, Fort Cancer, May 1st? It's a great event.
May 1st, Fort Cancer. Where is it?
May 1st, Capitol Park Air Museum. I'm a tastemaker this year.
What's a tastemaker?
So a tastemaker is a fundraiser for the Fort Cancer event. It's a fantastic event put on by American Cancer Society. All proceeds go to benefit cancer patients, logistics. There is a Hope Lodge in New Orleans where they can stay, and everything's kind of covered during that treatment. And so, we're doing an event, Fort Cancer, about 40 vendors from the great city of Baton Rouge come. They make a dish for that night. The Mixed Nuts is a wonderful band that always plays. We have an auction. It's at the Capitol Park Area Museum. I think I said that already. And as a tastemaker, our duty is to get the word out like I'm doing right now, raise a little bit of money for a good cause. And so I'm not in first. Shout out to Dr. Jim Perrone at Oshner. She is in first.
Are you close?
When our bear check clears, I'll be closer. Let's put it that way. I might jump up to like maybe fifth, something like that. We did have a fantastic event on Sunday. Brandon and Mackenzie Landry were super generous and opened up Supper Club on a Sunday, fully staffed, We put 92 people in there.
Holy smokes.
And we raised $4,000. They gave back 30% of the night's take to benefit American Cancer Society. So that was super awesome. Had a great dinner. Got to invite a bunch of friends. And yeah, it was fantastic. So I've done, I got some vacations donated I've been giving away. I got a golf round. You just ask people. They just start giving you stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
You start,
It's a great part about the community here.
Great part about the community. Everybody wants to support. If you see my ugly cutout somewhere, it's in Rev right now. It's going to move to Iverstein's pretty soon. There's a QR code on there, $50. You get entered in a chance to win to Antigua.
A trip to Antigua?
That's right. Trip to Antigua. You just have to pay a small per day service fee for the resort. But
outside of that,
I gotta say, I've been there. It's a nice resort. You're getting a steal.
Do they like bear hats?
Yeah, they might. I don't know. My guy last time he was entrepreneur. He wasn't worried about the hats. He wanted to buy some motorbikes and sell them on the island. It was like a big opportunity for him. So we'll see if Eric's still slinging drinks at the veranda bar.
I love it.
But yeah.
So what do you do?
All right. So we just been randomly talking. So what do I do? So as of for
those that have heard our great story of names and
if 20 questions, who's your favorite character in Game of Thrones, those sort of things. So I have two jobs as of a month ago, but my primary job
as of a month ago,
but my primary job is I am the CEO of Bear Process Safety. We do risk assessment and regulatory compliance for chemical, petrochemical, now the renewable space, lithium metal space. Basically, the cocktail answer is we try to make sure stuff does not explode or release toxic gas. So that's good. Trying to help mitigate
very
that.
Good,
and we work with our partners in industry to make that happen. We like a little tagline we have is we're taking the cancer out of Cancer Alley. We're making sure all of our people go home safe. It's very technical expertise. I'm a chemical engineer by degree. In process safety is an actual technical term. I don't do safety, occupational, hard hats, all those sort of things. And then as of a month ago, I am the COO of Grizz Veterinary Services, or it can be shortened to Grizz is the name of our app. My wife is the CEO. She's a veterinarian. And so Grizz is the first digital staffing app here in Baton Rouge for veterinary clinics and relief veterinarians. And so we launched that at the Louisiana Veterinary Medicine Association conference at the Crown Plaza. And it's been good. Good little traction. My first foray in app development, let me tell you, not for the faint of heart. But yeah, and I mean, it's an important job because, what better than have a job with your wife? And she keeps me, our meetings are less tense than maybe sometimes they are at Bear. Just because I can't, I'm not gonna yell at my wife. So we're just gonna have a calm, collected conversation about how we solve problems. And sometimes at Bear, maybe that happens that way, maybe it doesn't. But yeah.
Conflict resolution.
I would like to say we are, our core value is we are radically sincere. And so that is, we say, is a perfect balance of candor and empathy is the goal there. You don't help anybody if you're not direct, but you don't help anybody if you're not empathetic to what they're going through. And maybe they screwed up something and they're owning the accountability. Hey, have you screwed up before? Let's take that into account. Were they dismissive of what you asked to do, or did they try? They just missed the mark. How do we help people with coaching? So I'm a big core value wording guy, so we're just changing some of those up this week.
Throw that in Chat GPT. Give me some different options for this.
My favorite one right now is like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe?
Yeah, we want to be so good. Not only do you like us, you subscribe to us. You want us coming back. You want to keep giving us your money. That's how we are at Bear Process Safety.
Is that the new homepage? Is that the landing page on the website?
Yeah, like and subscribe. That's it. I mean, it's what it's all about in a service industry business. Everybody knows that.
Of course.
For sure. Earnestly it is. I mean, if you want something, we had a conversation with a customer today. We're talking about, obviously, renewing a contract, talking about pricing, talking about quality of work. And honestly, if you can get quality at a cheaper price that you think is better than mine, I want you to go work for them, right? We think we offer a value that's unmatched, and so we want to be held accountable to that. So if you're not subscribing back to us, that's a us problem, not a you problem. So that's what we think about it, Bear.
How did you get into this?
So I was a 27-year-old engineer.
Okay.
I worked for a design company here that no longer exists. Shout out to Mr. John Walker and Mr. Randy Cox. They had a little firm since 74. They sold in the late 2010s or early 2010s. No, late 2010s. 2018 would be late 2010s. It would be almost over. So boys and girls, that would be late.
You're past your mid-20s at that point. You're late.
So I was working for them. They did design engineering. They did one of the services that we do is hazard analysis. They did that for plants. And it's kind of a service a lot of engineers didn't really love to do. But I thought it was cool. You got to meet a bunch of new people at the plant, and you were out there for a long time. You basically cover the whole plant or the whole project when you talk about it. And so basically you would get to learn a lot, and sometimes you might have technical experts. They were like from Europe, or they've been working for 30, 40 years. So I just thought it was cool. And so I would sign up for all those jobs I could. And that is in the process safety realm. And so what probably about, it was almost 5 years in my career, I realized in Baton Rouge, even though we were super heavy industrial space, we did not have a firm that said they only did process safety.
Really?
Yeah, we did not. We still don't to this day, other than Bear Process Safety. There are other firms that do process safety work, but that is not the main service they do. So we do not do engineering work. We do not do environmental work. We do not do occupational safety. We only do process safety. And so we thought if we were really focused, that could make a difference. I had no money to my name, like $0. My wife was in vet school. So
you had $-.
We had $-.
You had to borrow dollars.
We had to borrow some dollars. And I don't know if you know this, but if you have never written a business plan in your life and you have no pro forma, they don't give you a whole lot of money for that.
You can't walk in and say, I need a loan.
Yeah, it's not like, I thought it was like in the movies when you go to the bank. What was the movie Jim Carrey was like Yes Man or something? Mm-hmm. And he's just stamping people left and right. You own a bakery, you got a body shop. And I was like, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to go into the bank. My friend got me a connection with the bank. And I said,
it's always the friend connection.
You
know you got money.
Mortgage lender. He was like, yeah, I can get you a meeting with the VP of our bank. No big deal. I'm like, bro, this can be so easy. Walked in, slid over some spreadsheets I'd put together.
That morning,
told him about all the clients I was going to get. And he was like, what's your 2 years worth of expenses and profits and revenue? And I said, oh, no. I don't know if you heard me. We started this company 2 days ago. I don't have any money that we've. He's like, sorry, can't give you any money. He goes, what we can do, though, is we can give you an unsecured loan at $19,500 for 27%. And I said, sold. And that's how we started Bear.
Wait,
on
what?
A Wednesday. That's what I did. So yeah, the cobbled money of the beginning of Bear.
I was like, where's the credit card, Adam?
It was awful. But I had quit my job, so I had no option.
Had no choice.
And to make matters worse, I say matters worse at the time.
You couldn't get worse.
It actually was. Well, hold on. It was a godsend, and we love him to this day, and he is an integral part of Bear. We had already hired my VP to work for us. So not only did we have no money, we had an employee. And
what did you promise that employee?
Well, I didn't really promise much. I just said, hey, we're starting this company. And at the time, I was an account manager for one of our customers at the other one. I said, they'll come over and I didn't understand how contracts work and how, they're locked in, have a whole AR process and a procurement process and all these kinds of things. And so, yeah, I was able to scrape some money together with that. A home equity loan that my parents had that my dad had me pay back with interest was about $20,000
worth of interest.
No, that was how much he gave me. Maybe it was about $20,000 worth of interest. I don't know. It took me a little while to pay him back, and that got me to $20 in the bank account. at some point.
Heyo.
And still didn't have a job. We were hustling though. And I took out my retirement. And you don't have a whole lot of retirement working 5 years. But I had about $30,000. I said, pay the penalty, baby. Burn the boat.
I was about to say.
Burn the boat.
And you got a penalty.
My finance.
You got an early withdrawal tax.
You are crawling out of your skin by how much money I threw away and lit on fire. But that $30,000 got us to our first check. And I remember it's a story we tell a lot. The first paycheck that came through the bank account, we took my wife and my VP and his wife, and we went to Rufino's. That was a place that we liked at the time, and we all had dinner and we celebrated our first. I think the check was like $1,000. I mean, now today I'm like, I don't even know if I'm like, I want all the $1,000. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, okay, we got $1,000. Like, good. That was a small job. I mean, this was like, we were like, brother, we made it. And yeah. And then from there, the rest is history. Bears went through some ebbs and flows we got all the way up to 20 employees. We now have a rock solid crew of 17, some great engineers, some great support staff, A+ players, some great clients really, that we've been fortunate to get. There's a lot of meetings that I found myself in the middle of a meeting being like, how am I here? Who thought I was talented enough to be here? And through the years, that's went away, right? I mean, you do it enough, you work it enough, you're confident enough in yourself, you got a great team around you, and you're just like, yeah, we should be here. This is what we do. If we lose something, let's learn from it. Let's try to win on it. But I think at some part, I don't know what this says about me, but at some part in that 7-year journey, that whole syndrome aspect or whatever you want to call it, it just went away, and I don't have it. And there's a aspect of, some people call it riskiness, but I think it's fearlessness of like, I got my team's back 100%. I can walk in any room and I can just say, hey, worst they can say is no. Worst they can say is we're dumb. Who cares? We don't think we're dumb. So let's just do it. Let's let it rip, baby. And we've been having fun doing it. It's been awesome.
Thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Lake Men's Health Center with Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group. Guys, I know it's tough to get out and go to the doctor. I know it's challenging to find time in our busy days, but I promise you, signing up to be a part of this group with Dr. Curtis Chastain and Dr. Tyler Boudreau, you won't regret it for several reasons, but most of those being the fact of the time it saves, where you're able to get in on the same day, get that appointment done, and spend that time you need to talk with them about what your health goals and concerns are, as well as ensuring that the financial investments you have, you will be able to live out and see those come to fruition. So if you're an investing guy, you know all about and planning for the future and investing in the future. There's no other more important thing to invest in than your health. Make sure you go check them out, Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group Men's Health Center, and tell them Patty G sent you.
That mindset to get to takes a lot.
Yeah.
But once you're there, how freeing is that?
It's honestly unbelievable because it's like, and it's not, sometimes people say ego. I think ego makes you feel invincible, right? And I don't think we're there. I think we understand like we can fail. Hey, we've had some failures. We've swung and missed on some things. We've shot big on some things that just didn't flat out work out. And a lot of times they were our fault. But I think it's just like, you're not scared either because you're like, hey, if it doesn't work, we'll come up with something else. We got the team. Like, we'll figure it out. Heaven forbid we got to consolidate the team, or, man, we got to grow the team and take a leap of faith, or I got to work a couple extra hours on a weekend, like whatever. I mean, hey, I'm here to make it work for the team. And it does give you a level of confidence. It really raises the floor and also raises the ceiling. Right? Because it's like you just think like, we'll make it. No matter what, our team will figure it out. We got the best team. And then you're like, because of that, you go after bigger things. I've heard Alex Hermosi said recently that if you figure out your plan B, then you can go for A. If you're comfortable with B, no matter what it is. His was driving Uber. Mine was, I'm not throwing shade. I had a chemical engineering degree. I thought it might take me a couple rounds, but somebody'd hire me to be an operator. My dad was an operator. I thought it was cool. I'm like, I could do it. make pretty good money. Got to work a lot of shift work. Got to work overnight. That'd be fine. That's my plan B. I'm comfortable with that. So everything else is extra. And it doesn't put a cap then on your ceiling. Your ceiling's just out there. You can dream big. And honestly, what I've found is the bigger you're able to dream, then you'll see opportunities more. You'll get to meet with a company that you thought, oh, this dream I had, like, we couldn't do this. And you meet one company and they say, hey, this is what we do. And if you never dreamed that big, you never thought like you could revolutionize the industry that you're in. You could be the best at what you do in the world. If you don't think about it that way, you're not looking for solutions to be the best in the world. And so you miss it. You're scared of the moment, right? Because at the end of the day, if you fail, I mean, you can figure it out. It's not that big of a deal. It's a belief in yourself. And I think where in my life there were some people that I thought were super talented, and still the thing that pains me the most is when I meet someone that is super talented and is just afraid that they will fail. And failure is a part of life no matter what you do. Not meaning to sound like I'm some old codger here who has, 85 years, but even playing safe, you're going to have some failure.
No doubt.
And so why would you have failure and play it safe? Why don't you have failure and play it big?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Because on the off chance you hit,
man, it's a home run.
No, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. And I don't look at it so much as you failing. I'm like, that was a great lesson learned. Because if it's a failure, you kind of get stuck in it, right? And you're like, like you kind of beat yourself up and you drag yourself out. But if you're like, I learned what not to do.
Right.
And now let's go execute not that way.
Absolutely. It's honestly one of the ways we started, Bear. And we were like, what are all the things we didn't like about the business we were at before? It's like, we'll do that. Right. And then, you learn pretty quick that, hey, okay, well, maybe there was a reason they did that or not. I don't know. You can still decide that. But I agree. That's the part of, lesson learned. You're going to earn more knowledge from your failure than you are from your successes. The successes are obviously funner. And I don't want to sugarcoat it. Failure sucks. Learning lessons sucks, but it's part of the process. I think that's what's been a challenge today with young entrepreneurs that I have coached or worked with or worked together with is there's so much out. Even when I was 27, I mean, the visual of success was just not in my face every day. And it is now. And I think it's tough for people to understand that to get to that vision, it's all possible. It just either takes time or it takes extreme effort. And most of the people in your life, especially if you are in your 20s or early 30s, are not putting extreme effort, right? In the way that you think about it, right? They may be doing the best that they could, but they have other priorities, right? They might have a family. They want to spend more time with their family. And all that's great. And they understand the level of success they're going to have and the timeline they're going to have it in. If you want to do something that's what you might call extraordinary, you may have to give some things up. I always just say, understand what you're giving up and is it worth it to you? Live your happy life, your setup. I had to give up things at 27 that sometimes I look back and I wish maybe I wouldn't have. But it's the journey of where I was. I learned from it. And then there's some aspects of life. Some people like security, like the aspect of not taking a risk. I'm addicted to let's try it out. Let's see what we can do. And so that's a thing that I know with the risk that comes with that.
Yeah.
I was never I was never just like a work to live in the way that my old mentor meant it.
Yeah.
Which was work a Monday to Thursday so you can go fishing on Friday to Sunday. It just didn't interest me. I still have fun. I still like to golf. I still will go, do some stuff with friends and hang out. I paint from time to time, but it just is not the thing that drives me as much. I never viewed work, and I still don't to this day, especially the strategy piece, the building piece, as bad as something to get away from. It was the thing that gave me energy. Mm-hmm. Now those who know me know that I will take a good vacation. I will be in Napa in 2 weeks and I'm not going to work at all when we're there. But when I'm here at home, I don't dread work. I actually think it's a great aspect of every day is a new day. You're learning something new. You're helping people. You're helping people build things, build their careers, what they want to get out of life. And that's exciting to me.
You're seeing them grow in a way that you can almost look at and say, yeah, I gave them the space to grow in that capacity.
Yeah, and honestly, it's something that I learned about myself that I really encourage a lot of people is like, if you find yourself, I mean, we're in business to make money.
Of course.
I mean, be honest about that. But if that's the only metric that you can judge, more times than not, like, it's never going to be enough. Mm-hmm. So you've got to find something else out of it. I found that I just love building. I don't know if I am the best at sustaining all the time, but I love the challenge of that because to me, it's building something new to make that sustainable, right? And so I want us to make money. I want to support my family. I want to support the people that work at Bear. But the aspect of that strategy and that building, that's what keeps coming me back, right? That's the birdie on 18 that I'm like, I'll swing them again. I'm down with it. Like, that's good. Let's try it out. Let's give it another go. And so that's been interesting to me as being a young entrepreneur to kind of learn that like not everybody thought that way or, it wasn't everybody's experience. If I was super earnest about our business, it hadn't always been the most successful it's ever been, but honestly, we hadn't had a lot of hardships throughout the years. We went through a global pandemic and we didn't lay off a single person and we made more top line revenue, right? I know that wasn't everybody's story. So like, I'm trying to be like, okay, what could we still learn? What did we do right? Why did that happen to us? Were we just luck, And if it was just luck, like, hey, can we recreate that luck? Like, what is?
How do we get that lightning and put it in a bottle and rebuild it?
Exactly, right. And so, and then like you said, we talked a little bit about Fort Cancer and things. Is I am really big too in like the community aspect. I love Baton Rouge. I think it was the place that when I was a kid. We grew up in the country, grew up in French Settlement, Louisiana. And then when we went to town, as my mom would say, we came to Baton Rouge. We went to LSU for every game. I mentioned earlier, hanging out with my grandfather at baseball games, going to football games in middle school and high school. And I just fell in love with the place. And I think that sometimes, I don't know if it's people who have lived here their whole life or people maybe have come from a city and this wasn't all you got marooned here because of your job or whatever. It's they really just miss out on things that are happening that are positives in this space. And also aspect of like, hey, if you don't like the way it is, something is like, hey, let's change it together. It's cool. We got a lot of cool people here, a lot of talent here. I always thought that I could make a bigger difference, on my street, so to speak, than the world. And I was okay with that. I was okay with not being, living in Miami and doing all the stuff. I love Miami. We go visit a lot. It doesn't give me a passion to build some business in Miami. I think to build a business, here on Florida Boulevard or Essen Lane and impact the people who I know are talented and just need a chance and need somebody to believe in them. That still drives me too. So yeah, it's been fantastic to honestly own a business here in Louisiana, a place that I've never left. I never plan to leave. So
except to go to Napa and Miami and travel.
Napa. I mean, I'll leave for a couple of days. Maybe we'll have a dual residence somewhere, but
dual
residence. But all of my companies will always be based in Louisiana.
All of your so you're saying there's more to come?
There might be more companies to come.
I mean, it sounds like there's more on the horizon.
There might be more horizon. Hey, I've been calling this year the year of gains. And so we just gaining all kind of stuff. We gaining knowledge. We gaining strength, fitness. We're gaining fashion. We're gaining lessons in life. It's not about losing bad things. It's about gaining the great things. And so, it's been a little motivation for me. I started as a fitness journey. It's honestly been just kind of a great aspect of how I've been living life this year. And me and my wife have started doing date nights once a week. New restaurant. 52 weeks, 52 restaurants.
Do you have them all charted out?
We don't have them charted out yet. We're just playing it as we go. And we've been rock solid on it. It's a good chance for us to get away. I've started some aspects on some reading. I'm going to run a 10K, folks. I've never done that. Let's do it. Been hitting the gym, doing the weights, doing the supplements, gaining life. And I really thought about all the experiences. Somebody asked me the other day, like, why did this finally, hit for me? And I just thought about a lot of experiences that I missed out on. And I said, I'd like to gain those back. And so now other aspects of life that maybe, and I've used that for the business as well, right? It's just like, well, I could do this today, but what am I gaining? That's more important than that if I don't do it. And that's really helped me keep the drive going rather than just, what can I get away with and still lose the thing. I had a trainer told me losing is for losers. You lose weight, you're a loser. It's like you gain strength, you gain muscles, gain flexibility. So it's your gains. Maybe coming to a bookshelf near you next year. I don't know.
You got a book in the works
Podcast?
too?
Who knows? Whatever. Sky's the limit. You never know.
Man.
Maybe I like to hear my own self-talk. Maybe somebody else like to hear too. I don't know.
I know a good podcast production company.
Good podcast production company, right? Can make that happen.
We can make it happen.
We'll see.
I love it, man. I'm excited to see what happens in the year of gains.
The year of gains. Yeah, it'll be a good journey. I challenge everybody else. It's not just for me. You could do year of gains. Whatever's your goal. You could do anything for a year. Set a goal, do it. Get to it.
I'm in it. It's never too late to start.
Yeah. Get a new haircut. Whatever.
No, hang on now. Hang on now.
That's a callback. Offset. Yes, a callback offset.
That's a BDS comment.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, anyways, this has been fun, but before we get you out of here, we have a set list of questions we ask every person.
All right.
What is something you did as a kid you wish you could still do today?
I used to could hit a baseball. I don't think I could still do that today.
You got to gain that this year.
I could gain it back. We go to the back.
Gain it back.
Gain it back. I used to hit a baseball. I was pretty good at doing that. I wish I could still do it.
I mean, we've got a great bat company here. I'm sure.
We do. Shout out to Mr. Kurt Ainsworth. Back in the big leagues of Baton Rouge days where they were making Marucci bats back there. Used to do some training with those guys. And I've been a fan of Marucci back in the day, even before Jose Reyes was a fan. That's a callback name. And hit a baseball. Still hit a baseball. That was a long answer for that question, but
I feel like we can knock that out quickly.
We actually maybe could.
We could pull like a Creed from The Office. Want to do a cartwheel, take 2 seconds and get it done.
I just don't know if I can hit the ball. I don't know if my hand-eye coordination's still there.
We'll just put it up on a tee. You never said you had to hit a ball thrown at you.
Never said it had to be a live baseball. That's true. Yeah.
And look, don't tell those kids that ball's not live.
That's right.
So you've been doing this for quite a while. You've seen some highs and some lows, and now you're starting a whole new business, which we'll have to get your wife on here next time.
That's right.
Have her talk about her business.
Have her talk about it.
But throughout that, what are 3 lessons you've learned along the way?
I think number 1, it was beat of your own drum. Like, understand your brand and just be comfortable with your brand. And if that's unique, if that's maybe some people think it's boring, if that's whatever, just own it. Because there will be a people that is your tribe, that is your team, that is your customer, and they will thrive in what you're doing. I wear this every day. I was in an industry that, it's very much suit appropriate or button-up shirts or whatever. It was just not my brand. It was not my style. It felt unauthentic to me. Some people could say, well, it was like rude that I did different. I didn't really view it that way. I was like, if this is important to you, I want you to go with somebody that's important to, and it's not important to me. And I just understood that brand value very early on in my career. And that's kind of what if I go back and I talk to students and those sort of things, I always tell them that. Understand your brand, even as a student. Number 2, I'd say understand the risk of every decision. That's not a play on the fact that I do process safety work. But yeah, if you understand the risk, like I talked about earlier, if you understand what plan B, if you understand what the floor is, however you want to say it, then you can really thrive on the back end. And really the 3rd lesson I learned is kind of, I said a little bit earlier, but celebrate the wins of everybody around you. I think sometimes it's easy for us to be feel inadequate if somebody else is succeeding that we know or successful. And it's easy also if we're the one succeeding to be like, man, look how awesome I am. chances are everybody that's been around you has supported you in some capacity to get you where you were. Doesn't mean you didn't work hard. It doesn't mean you didn't have effort or talent. And so, it's super cliche, but rising tide lifts all ships, whatever you want to say about it. I just think you will get the most joy if you are building up your team around you. And I know that people will tell you, well, if someone's not adding value to you, get rid of them and cleave them off. I really would challenge you to analyze why they're not adding value. Are you not bringing value to them also? Is this not a mutual relationship where you're trying to grow together? Don't look over the fence at the Instagram and this is a cool group. It's like, your group's cool. Rise your group. Make your group successful. You have fun nights. You go to dinner. You do parties. You throw big charity events. You run businesses together. You go on trips. And I think you're going to be happier that way because you're going to be with the people that supported you the whole time. And you're not going to have this fleeting feeling of moving to the next best opportunity for you. Mm-hmm. You're going to be creating opportunities for yourself and those around you.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. So what is something you love about Baton Rouge?
I think I love the people in an aspect of a true person in Baton Rouge, like who's like down to it, is they understand like what they are and what they are not, right? It's like, I think a lot of times people think that Baton Rougeans want to be New Orleans, and it's like, we really don't. We respect New Orleanians for what they are. I always used to say, you go to New Orleans for a couple of days and you forget like what day it is, right? And it's not just because you had some nice cocktails. It's because there's just a vibe. Nobody's in a rush. You're just you're chilling. It's Sunday brunch all the time. It's a festival. But I think people who like love Baton Rouge understand that, hey, we're the capital city. We get things done. We still have great food. We still have great culture. There's an aspect of family here with your neighbors and with meeting everybody. I love that you can go to an event and 8 to 10 people. My wife does not love it because people come up and talk to me and I'm yapping and whatever. But I love that aspect of that community feel that we all feel like we're kind of in it together. And it makes it easier opportunity if you see somebody who you can give an opportunity to or a chance to or help out, and you just do it. I love that about the city. There's so many people that did that for me. Starting out a business, as I said earlier, with no money, with no experience. I didn't know what I was doing. And I called, whether that be in finance, marketing, like anything, taxes, how do I shoot a video? Everybody was always down to help me. And they didn't charge me any money. And it wasn't this like, well, if you sign a contract, it was like, yeah, man, great. This is awesome that you're doing this. I want to help you out. Sure, that'd be fantastic. And I think that's a trait of the city. And I love it about us.
No, 100%. So what is something I can do to help you?
Honestly, something you can do to help me is, this is going to sound super cheesy, but just keep doing what you're doing and elevating the stories of the people of this community. I think that, even something as simple as like, we've just been hanging out and rapping and doing, weird off the wall questions or whatever. It humanizes everybody. And it makes it easier and approachable. Right. And so I really do think, we're sitting in an innovation park of some fantastic companies in this park where this studio is, including the company whose name is on the wall here. Right. And I think there's so many people that just have an untold story that are that talented, that can be that successful. They just need someone to elevate them, to work with them, to be a team for them. And I think by meeting the people that you meet and telling the stories that you tell, we're doing that on a bigger platform. And I do really appreciate that. I've never told you that. We never talked outside of this about this.
It's our first time meeting.
It's the first time.
What's your name?
yeah, exactly. But I'm really serious. I think just keep doing what your team is doing, man. I think it's, and I know sometimes it's going to feel like, man, this one hit, this one didn't, whatever. I think they're all great because they're all telling the story of a new person, and that person is getting to be a little more comfortable in their own skin, and hopefully they're helping somebody else from that.
Oh yeah, and that's, one of the main reasons I started the show was to get all the unique stories of all the unique different people out here in the city and in the state, and just say, hey, this is yours. Make it your own. Come out here and showcase what you got going on.
Yeah, and I think you've been doing a fantastic job of that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So, man, that's all she wrote. I really appreciate you coming out, sharing your story, and really just chit-chat, man. This was fun. I enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me. It was fun. A lot of random. I was the man of questions tonight. Got a couple laughs. That's the important part.
That's
having
it,
fun.
Man. We had a good time.
So, yeah.
That's all that matters. So thank you, and thank you everybody else for tuning in. We'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Patty G Show. We'll catch you later.